Peace, shalom. This is Yeshaya Yisrael, giving honor and praise unto Yah, the creator of heaven and earth. Call this one here about 15-minute video concerning the response from an Israelite concerning the little ploys and tactics used against Israelites in debating, so forth and so on. One of the first things to talk about is when they try to sit there and speak about Israelites as shepherds, as if to say being a shepherd is a bad thing, while at the same token, they speak highly and praise Africa this and Africa that. It was against the culture of the Egyptians to deal with shepherds. But now when you go into Africa itself, and this place I'm speaking of now is Ghana, Nigeria, Niger, where you find people from the Fulani people, where you find people from the Hausa people that deal in being shepherds, and is very lucrative to them. So to try to snap on somebody being a shepherd, or to try to insult the man for being a shepherd, while at the same token, you're the same person trying to speak highly and praise in Africa, you out of pocket. Now, another thing is you have people sitting up there talking about the professor, may he rest in peace now, Dr. Clark. And I noticed when I mentioned him in another video, people came and basically was trying to attack me, so to speak, online about me mentioning something about a great teacher. But nothing that any man says is able to never be rethought of or re-challenged. My point is that anything that anybody says can be thoroughly investigated. So because you refer to somebody as a master teacher does not mean, brothers and sisters, that who you hold in that high esteem will be held in the same high esteem by everybody else. I have teachers I respect and look up to. I don't be sitting up here talking about this Kohen this Moray that, and trying to shove that down somebody's throat. Nah, I don't do that. Because if you respect somebody as a teacher, you take what they state and move on with it. You don't stay stuck on that person. That's what you all stay religious people do. They get stuck on a pastor. Well, you all got stuck on Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben. And one of the things he stated in one of his speeches is that you find different people throughout the world having what they doing as the Hebrew faith. And that is a ploy to sit there and state that the Israelites, our people here in the Western Hemisphere saying we are Israelites, is ill-founded because there are people in different parts of the world, different colors, different races, who have the same, as they say, Hebrew faith. But under that same premise, you can also sit there and speak about the white people in Egypt who will claim to be ancient Egyptians. Just like you got the white man in Israel trying to lay claim to be the ancient Israelites. So when the Egyptian culture, a little bit around the time of the historian Herodotus, went into Greece and they started dealing and worshiping Egyptian goddesses and so forth and so on, that was the Egyptian faith over in European countries. So now the fact that the ancient Egyptians are not in their land, can we adequately then say that black people in America and the Western Hemisphere saying they are Egyptians are false because the faith and the culture of the ancient Egyptians is being pimped by white people today, just as much as white people claiming to be Jews or trying to pimp their way as far as being Israel? No, can't do that. You understand? The same ploy to try to use against Israelites backfires. But see, they ride on Egypt until the wheels fall off. So then they jump from Egypt. Well, I'm all Africa now. That's what that guy said he did in the debate. Oh, y'all can have Egypt. I'm going to Nubia. You can't do that. Not if you truly about Kemet. You can't play games and play hopscotch. I'm jumping from country to country. Be who you are, if that's who you are. Now, other issues is that they try to sit there and use the understanding of saying, well, they got Egyptian monuments and statues and everything like that. Then they'll sit there and ask the Israelites, where are your monuments and statues and so forth and so on. First off, it's against Hebrew culture to even have statues. But let's go to Leviticus chapter 26, verse 33. We're going to read it in Hebrew, then English, and then translate it from the Hebrew. It says this, Leviticus 26, verse 33 says this, Wa'atem ezare bagoyim waharikwoti akare kem kareb wahaita arazekem shamama wa'arekem yihyu karba. Verse 33. And you will I scatter among the nations, and I will pull out the sword after you. Your land shall be desolate, and your city shall be waste. So the fact that the Hebrew scriptures is showing us that due to the iniquities of the house of Israel, you're not going to be able to find but so many, if any, monuments of the ancient Israelites in their land. Because the Most High is going to make it, as the Hebrew says there, shamama. Shamama in Hebrew means utter destruction. All right, so let's get into the Hebrew of this part here in Leviticus 26, verse 33. And it reads as follows. Wa'atem ezare bagoyim, and you all will I scatter, will I disperse, will I send out to bagoyim among the nations. Waharikwoti akare kim kareb, and I will pull from a sheaf, or I will pull out, or I will draw out after you a sword. Wahayita, and it shall become Arazikim Shemama, your land, it shall become a total desolation. Wa'are kem gihyu karba, in your cities it shall become an utter waste. Now I want to sit there and point something out in Hebrew. The word kareb means sword. And we also see the word karba. Only thing different is you put the letter hey at the end. Because with a sword, what you do is you destroy things utterly. So with a kareb, you get the karba. All right, so let that be understood from Hebrew understanding. Went into that not to show off, but went into that because you have a lot of characters who try to sit there and when the conversation seems to get hot and heated, well, let's just try to jump into a Hebrew word here and there. When you don't know the language, know your place. I'm the first one to sit there and tell somebody, I don't know Metuneta. I'm still studying it. But when you're sitting there and you're trying to sit there and play games with people with the language, dealing with James Strong's concordance as the main source, you off, baby. You got to know where you stand at. Furthermore, in history, when you understand what happened between Herod and Hadrian, you know good and well, brothers and sisters, that the things that were in the land of Israel was totally demolished. When you had the Idumeans linked up with the Greeks and then later on linked up with the Romans, they destroyed everything they could. So let that be understood. All right. Now, I wanted to sit there and show this picture here of these people. This here is from a book called The Lost Jews, written by Louis Rappaport. Last of the Ethiopian Falashas, right? They are of color, or what you will call black, as you may be able to see. They call themselves Beta Yisrael. They are called Falashas. They don't call themselves Falashas. They are called that. They call themselves Beta Yisrael, which means the house of Israel. One of the things I wanted to point out concerning that is they predate the European Jew. So these brothers and sisters into Kemetic science, and they showing up a European Khazar white man talking about sucking a baby's penis as they do in their Talmudic thing and so forth and so on. The house of Israel don't follow the Talmud. You understand? So that's not our doctrine. Talking about that's the oral law. There is no oral law. These are the laws, statutes, and the commandments that were given by the Most High. And in it, you do not deal in drinking/eating blood. So we don't do what they call as mezisa bape, in which the European white Khazar Jew sits there and sucks the baby's penis. The sons of Israel don't suck penis. So we're going to sit there and let that be known and understood. Alrighty now. So another thing is this. People sit there and praise their teachers like Dr. Ben and so forth and so on. And I mean no disrespect to the man. But as an Israelite, These scholars, as they are referred to as, have been speaking for decades against the house of Israel. So it's time when Israel gets a voice for us to speak back. You, Dr. Ben, are from the same people that I showed the picture of in that book, the so-called Falashas, the people who call themselves Beta Yisrael. How would Ramses the first, second, third, or Meneptah, or any of the other pharaohs feel about a man who comes from a community who call themselves Beta Yisrael? How will those Egyptian pharaohs feel about a person from the house of Yisrael in Ethiopia talking about the Ramses and the pharaohs? They will call you counterfeit. They wouldn't sit there and respect that. But our people here, they just want a leader. And seems how the white man, just like Shahrazad Ali pointed out, in that Hidden Colors DVD, all they want to do is talk to you about Egypt. They keep on pimping it, and they created with the Catholic Church that thing that they call Egyptology. So being that they sat there and presented that, and then you got a man who they say, oh, he was part of the Israelite community and the black Jew community over in Ethiopia, and then he found Egypt. So you use that as a catalyst, but the ancient Egyptians, if you knew their way, they would call Dr. Ben counterfeit. So where your sources at? Sometimes you have to know how to step into a battle. You have to know how to pick your battles. Because so far, it's looking very sloppy. Now, another issue is the Egyptian god Min. M-I-N. You know, the one that Ashwa Kwesi, and yes, I'm blowing up names, shows on his videos, like the DVD I have called Judaism, the Stolen Religion Out of Africa. I don't know how you managed to sit there and fit in time talking about men and the penis being erect, talking about that's the sign of fertility. In every culture on the planet, fertilization happens inside of a woman. The male gamete, which is the sperm cell, meets the female gamete, which is the egg cell. Them coming together make a zygote and an embryo, and then 7 to 9 months later, she has a baby, male or female baby, called a toddler. Then the little boy or the little girl grows up to become a teenager, then an adult. That's the life process of all humans all over the planet. So to have an image of an erect penis and then sit there and state that that is talking about fertilization when there is nobody of the XX chromosome, there's no female present. How in the world is having an erect penis sign of fertilization when fertilization happens inside of a woman? But that's what happens when you got a culture like that in ancient Egypt, which sits there and has the earth represented by the Egyptian god Geb or Geb. But the earth and all cultures basically is feminine, like in Numbers chapter 16, where it said, if the Most High do a new thing and the earth open her mouth. You put seed in the earth and it grows that. That's why they even in some places refer to it as Mother Earth. But ancient Egypt has it to where Geb, which is representation of the earth, is the masculine. But the male gender is not supposed to take seed. The female gender takes seed. And the seed nourishes or is nourished inside of the female womb, earth or human, female, and then whatever the seed was, it comes out. Apple seed, apples, banana seed, bananas. You put your seed inside the woman. That's why the 5% is referred to the woman as earth. You put your seed in that, and whatever comes out from that was what seed it was. That's just what it is. But you want to sit there and ask us to be candid, frivolous questions about your messed up chronology. Your representatives, some of them are Israelites who decided to not want to follow the Israelite ways. Shake your ground, baby.